Now 7. What is the solution to the equation 2x cubed plus 128 equals 0? So to do this, I would just go rearranging straight off the bat equals negative 128. And then you just divide both sides by 2, x cubed equals negative 64. And if x cubed is negative 64, you can put it in your calculator, but essentially you just need to think something times something times something is 64, and then just the negative version. So 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. Therefore, negative 4 cubed equals negative 64, and therefore the answer is B. This is very much a calculator problem, by the way. I just didn't do it because I don't have my calculator with me at the moment. Okay, question 8. Which of the following is used to calculate the area of the triangle ABC? Okay, so area of a triangle is obviously base times height divided by 2, but with a non-90 degree triangle, so non-right angle triangle, the actual equation is 1 over 2 times base times height times sine theta, where sine theta is the angle as shown, which is made by the two sides you're using. Therefore, it's 1 over 2 times 7 times 12 times sine 63, and 7 times 12 equals 84, and therefore half times 7 times 12 is 42, and so our answer is C, 42 sine 63. If you don't know this one yet, I don't know if you've been taught it, so don't worry too much about it, but you will get taught it later on. So, and as for any of these questions, if you haven't been taught it, then don't worry, because it is a term 4 test from Pymble, so it might not actually have stuff that you've been taught. So just stress about the ones that you know you've been taught and you do expect to see on your exam on Friday. Okay, question 9. The graph below shows the number of rabbits in a colony. During which week will the population of the colony double its original size? Okay, so this is pretty much just looking at the graph and figuring out. So if you go from week 1, it's 100. 0, which is the original size. So original equals 100. Now, it's essentially saying during which week will the population hit 200, right? Original times 2 equals 200. So you look for 200 on the graph, which is right here, and then you look in line with it. You find the point right there, and you look down. It's during the first week, because it hasn't reached the second week yet. Therefore, our answer is A, because these rabbits breed bloody fast. Okay, exponential graphs. I know I didn't get time to teach you this today, so I wouldn't stress if you don't know it, but I do have an opportunity now, so I think you can figure this out pretty easily, but all you really need to know is an exponential graph intercepts at 1, because if you have any number, a to the power of x, if you have any number, a to the power of 0, it will equal 1, right? So 1 to the power of 0 equals 1, 2 to the power of 0 equals 1, etc. Therefore, if you have an original exponential graph, no matter what your number actually is, it can be 3 to the power of x, y equals 4 to the power of x. When x equals 0, which is the y-intercept, it'll equal 1, right? So that's your general point that you start off on. Now, we know that the graph is translated then down by 8, because you go 1, and then you go 1 down, and then 2 down, 3 down, 4 down, 5 down, 6 down, 7 down, 8 down. So it's essentially y equals a to the x minus 8. And it's positive because it's increasing the shape of the graph, right? So we know that this is the form of our graph. is y equals a to the x minus 8. And we look up, we have 2 to the x minus 7, that doesn't fit the form. We have 2 to the x minus 8, that does fit the form. We have negative 7 minus 2 to the x, which would be the opposite way. So it doesn't fit the form. And then 8 minus 2 to the x, which again, it's a positive gradient, not a negative one. So therefore, this doesn't fit the form, right? So, yeah, sorry. So we know the answer is then B. Moving on, question 11, what is the value of sine theta? Also, by the way, on this one, you don't actually need to know exponential graphs that well. You just need to know translation and understand that a base form exponential graph will always intercept at that one point. 11, what's the value of sine theta? This looks pretty obviously to be sine rule, which is just sine theta on A. Oh, sorry guys. Sine A on A equals sine B on B, right? So in this case, sine 30 on 8. So you're just going opposite sides. Alright, sine 30 on 8 is equivalent to sine theta on 5. Then you multiply across. 5 sine 30 on 8 equals sine theta. Arc sine theta, or sine negative 1 theta, is 5 sine 30 on 8. And you can put this into your calculator, but sine 30 is just equal to a half, so it's 5 on 16. So, oh wow, sorry. So theta equals whatever, but you actually only need sine theta, so I'll delete this last line, I didn't read the question properly. So yeah, so 5 times 1 over 2 on 8, which is equivalent to 5 on 16, which is A. So our answer is A. Moving on, the solution to a pair of simultaneous equations is shown below. In which line does the first mistake occur? I had good practice for this today when I was watching you do your math, so hopefully I can get this. So essentially all we need to look for is you look at the question and try to think of what steps you would take and see if anything misaligns. So looking at it immediately, I figure I would probably multiply the first line by 2, which is exactly what they've done, to make sure that you can get a value that cancels out. And 1 times 2, 3 times, so 3 times 2 is 6, 1 times 2 is 2, 20 times 2 is 40. So that line is correct. So I'm just going to take a green highlighter. If you don't have one, you can just put a dot next to it in the test. But this is correct, so we don't have to worry about it. Now next, it says 2 plus 3. So it's adding these two lines together. Alright, so just do this on your own. 5x minus 2y equals 26. 6x plus 2y equals 40. 11x equals 66, and the y's cancel out. Therefore, this step is correct. Next, it says x equals 6, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just dividing both sides by 11, so we can just say that this is correct. 30 plus y equals 20. So it's saying it's subbing 5 into 1. So if x is 6, it's 3 times 6 plus y equals 20. 18 plus y equals 20, which is very obviously not the same thing as what they wrote. So this line here, line 4, is wrong. So our answer is line 4.